friends were coming from out of town for a visit, and that means cooking lots of delicious meals. As I was trying to debate what I should cook for them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, my biggest excitement was what I can make for them for dessert. I remembered that our friends loved my Russian cake called medavik, so I knew that I had to bake it for them. Now, this is a labor of love type of cake. I only make this cake for special occasions, and usually it's for my children's birthday or any other big holidays. And when I do make this cake for my kids' birthdays, I always have to make two cakes because our guests always ask for seconds and we never have any leftovers. This recipe is very special to me. Growing up in Belarus, my mom's best friend, Aunt Vera, would always make this cake for her children's birthdays and any other special occasions. When I first got married, I asked her if I could have a copy of this recipe because I wanted to impress my husband with my baking skills. I'm so thankful that I asked her for this recipe and that she was so generous in giving it to me. She's no longer with us, but her legacy continues on to live through this cake that is now becoming a tradition of me making it for my children for their birthdays. We have a joke in my family that this cake is magical because you would never eat it the day you bake and assemble the layers. You have to let the cake sit in the fridge overnight so that way the cream will sip through the layers, making hard layers magically turn to soft, melt in your mouth kind of cake. When I'm excited about something, y'all, you can hear it, you can see it. And let me just tell you, this cake, it's definitely something you get excited about. I made all the layers and cream of this cake in our rental house in North Carolina. That evening when we did come to our farmhouse in Virginia, I was able to put it together, put it in the fridge, and then the next morning decorate it. If you don't know, I bake for a living. A hard season in life paid a way for me to become an accidental baker. And one day I hope to share that story with you. With that said, I'm a baker, but I'm not a cake decorator. I love using fresh fruit to bring the beauty of the cake and to keep the cake simple and classy. Before our friends arrived, we had several chores to do on the farm. Our kids were out of town with grandparents, so my husband took care of bison and I went and picked some blueberries from my father-in-law's property. I always enjoy the view of the mountains on this property and just feel so peaceful there. Our young blueberry bushes didn't do well this year because of the late frost, but my father-in-law's mature bushes were loaded with fruit. For breakfast, I decided to make buttermilk biscuits and gravy for our friends. It is now a tradition for me to make biscuits and gravy on the weekends. Once in a while, we take a break and I made some sort of pancakes, but otherwise, that's what we make on the farm every Saturday. And I love the fact that making biscuits at home is so easy. It's also very inexpensive and so much better than store-bought. We love the flakiness of this biscuit recipe. The layers are soft and buttery inside with a slight crisp golden crust outside. That contrast is deeply satisfying, especially when the biscuits and gravy are warm. I also wanted to make something sweet for our friends with blueberries that picked up earlier in the morning. I decided to make blueberry scones that I used to sell in my Etsy shop. In fact, I remember a customer from New York City placing an order for my scones, and I felt so flattered that she chose my online shop instead of a local bakery in New York City. These are not your average scones. They're tender, buttery, and packed with blueberries with just the right amount of sweetness. You have to try them. After lunch, I showed my friend around my garden. My husband was smoking barbecue pork for lunch, and so I was ready to go ahead and start working on dinner. Around April, I picked up a few turkey breasts that were frozen at a local store for less than $4 a turkey. I wanted to come up with a meal that was more like set it and forget it kind of meal, where you just kind of put everything together in one pot, put it in the oven, so I could spend my time catching up with our friends. In Slavic cuisine, there is a dish called plov. Traditionally, it's made with rice and beef. In some cases, people use lamb and lots of spices. I wanted to improvise a little bit, and instead of rice, use potatoes, and instead of beef, use turkey. I cut up my meat, browned my meat, added flour that will help thicken the juices and give you the gravy, and I added plov spices. Now, these spices I buy at a local, European grocery store. But my plan is to do a restock pantry video where I can show you how to make these spices at home. Once the chicken is brown, I put it in a Dutch oven and then I move on to vegetables. You can add any kind of vegetables you want. In my case, I just added some onions and I caramelized them for flavor. And then I also added potatoes. As a kid growing up in Belarus, we ate a lot of potatoes. They're very inexpensive to grow, they're filling, and so there's a lot of dishes in Belarusian cuisine that use potatoes. After caramelizing my onions, I move on to cooking potatoes in my pan. Now, I know not everybody loves onions, but you do not want to omit in this recipe. It adds such a depth to this recipe and flavor profile that it's definitely worth keeping. I know my kids don't like onions, but they don't even notice it in this dish. Now, when it comes to potatoes, I know you can just cut it up and put it in your Dutch oven and let it cook in the oven. However, I prefer cooking my potatoes on a stovetop. I love the golden edges that are achieved by cooking my potatoes first, as opposed to just putting in the Dutch oven and let my potatoes cook in the oven. But it's just my preference. You don't have to do that. You can just cut it up and put it straight in the Dutch oven and then in the oven, but that's just the way I like it. After everything is put together, I add a little bit of water and just set it and forget it in my oven. I did have to add a little bit more water because turkey tends to be more dry when it's baked and it would not produce a lot of juices as opposed to beef that creates the extra juices when cooked. So I wanted to make sure that my dish had plenty of gravy. And oh boy, it did not disappoint. Our friends absolutely loved this dish. The seasoning is what makes this dish one of a kind. And I will share with you in my upcoming videos how we can make this seasoning at home. After dinner, it was time to sample the cake. Period. When I make this recipe for my family, I usually cut this recipe in half. But when we have guests, I wanted to make sure to make a full recipe so that we will have a lot of cake to eat and enjoy to the fullest. Our friends loved the cake, and I think it's fair to say that anybody who has tried this cake before would say that there's nothing like it to compare to. It is hard to wrap your mind around the fact that the layers are baked hard, but when the cake sits in the fridge overnight and the cream penetrates through the layers, they turn soft, tender, and absolutely delicious. Before our friends left to go home in the morning, I chose to make Russian pancakes called oladyi. It is something that I make for my kiddos on weekly basis, and it's one of our favorite pancake recipes. I grew up eating oladyi in Belarus, and so now I make them on weekly basis for my children. And as a mom, I love the fact that they're healthy. Oladyi are made with kefir, and if you're not familiar with kefir, in my opinion, it's like liquid gold. It is so good and healthy for you. And our friends absolutely loved it as well. We were sad to see our friends leave, but we'll look forward to the next time when we can be together, sharing more laughter and good food.